everyone, this is Mare, and today I'm going to do something a little different. Instead of just giving an overview of one movie, or giving a look back, review, whatever, what have you, that sort of thing. I'm actually going to talk about 3 sequels to the same franchise that just so happen to follow a coherent storyline and story structure with a lot of characters going from one movie to another, or what have you. So I'm going to be talking about the Dream trilogy of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and if you're probably wondering what the fuck that is, the Dream trilogy is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. I call these well because they all have dream in the title, so this is the Dream trilogy, and they follow each movie almost simultaneously, so which is a good thing. The bad thing is I made smack talk about a certain movie that everyone fucking loves, but this is my video, and if you don't like my opinion, go fuck yourself. So we are going to be talking excuse me, we're going to be talking about each individual movie, more of an overview or look back rather than a actual review on it. So please stay tuned, and hopefully after this next part you won't get too mad at me. So right now we are going to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors, which a lot of people are going to be mad at me when I say this, but it is, and I quote, the most overrated Nightmare on Elm Street movie ever. Now, I'm not saying it's a good film, I'm not saying it's a bad film. I mean, but it was when Freddy took that turn to more black comedy than actual horror. And my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie just took that to another different level. But I think this is where it really all began. People say, "Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 because Nancy's bad." Yes, Nancy by far is, well, Freddy 2 is by far the best part of the movie. And sadly, she's not the focus of the movie. No. That title belongs to Whiny Kristen, played by Patricia Arquette, and then later played by Tuesday Night, which I'll get to that when I talked about 4. But in Dream Warriors, she was very whiny. She was like very unsure of herself. She was like, "Oh, Mom, I had this most terrible dream." I'm like, okay, what is she's gonna do about it? She's gonna lay down with you? Is she gonna, pat your head and say it's okay? No, she's gonna go screw her little boy toy. But the deaths in this movie is very innovative. Philip's death is probably one of the creepiest deaths in Nightmare on Elm Street. Not one of the best deaths. I don't fucking give a shit about what Watch Mojo says. Philip's death is nothing compared to Tina's and Glenn's death to the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's close, but it's nowhere near close. And then you have Jennifer's death, and then things just took that turn. Karen's death was okay for what it was. Will's death could have been better. Nancy death, again, kind of like, I'm gonna stab you in the back, but no, I'm gonna stab you in the chest, kind of thing. I think that could have been better, considering she was the lone survivor of the original, and she survived Freddy for so long, but no, she gets a stab. So the reason why I don't like this film, I'm not gonna say I hate this film, because I don't. No, that title belongs to Freddy's Dead. But the reason why I don't love it, and I'm not like, oh, nostalgia goggles of being for this damn movie, it's because I saw 4 before I saw this one, and this one, while it had its dark tones, I don't think it worked as well. And I'm not saying Chuck Russell didn't do a good job in directing it. Even though if any of you watched the Never Sleep Again documentary, a lot of the cast members were kind of like, yeah, we have no idea what Chuck is doing with us. And there was a lot of tension and all that. So I'm not saying that Chuck didn't do a good job. He did a wonderful job with the mask, which I think that's more his motif, like funny comedy with like lighthearted humor in it, and yet it had like the whimsical side to it. I think that's more Chuck Russell's territory, what he's good at least. So I'm not going to say, oh, this movie's so fucking great. Wes Craven had very little to do this movie. He wrote the first draft, and they deemed it too foul, considering what Wes wrote for the original Elm Street. I guess 3, he decided to take it up another notch and made it more gruesome and all that respects. So, ideas from the first draft were used. Nancy returning and all that was used. I don't think anything else was used. I think very little from the first draft was in the final script. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't even born yet. So I'm going to say that while I don't like DreamWorks as much as every fucking body else, I'm going to say this. Is it a good movie? Yes. Is it a good Nightmare on Elm Street movie? Yes. Is it a good movie with strong female lead? The female lead in this movie is Kristen. Nancy, and then the only reason why Kristen, Joey, and Kincaid, lived until 4 was because of Nancy and Dr. Shit. Neil. I forgot his last name, but it's Neil. Dr. Gordon, I think it was, right? Neil Gordon, yeah, I believe that's what it was. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Those 2 are the heroes of this movie. Even though Neil wasn't like so sure about the whole dream concept at first, he was willing to take it because I think he had a thing for Nancy, and I wish we saw more of that. But we sadly didn't. And we never knew what happened to him after the events of Dream Warriors. They never followed it up. I think they followed it up once in a comic book, but that comic book is out of print, so if you're trying to find scans of it, you probably have better luck doing that than finding the comic book itself. So, Dream Warriors, like I said, it's not my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I don't think it's a horrible movie. I just don't have the feels for it as other people do. And could it be because I don't know. I mean, I know I saw Dream Warriors before I saw any of them. I saw 2 and 3 when I was very young, before the mindfuck of 1, before I turned 8. So this had to have been when I was 6 or 7, when I saw glimpses of Dream Warriors and Freddy's Revenge. So I don't necessarily remember my first reactions to it, because I don't think I got it in my brain of like what's going on. The only thing I remembered was Terrence's death, and I'm like, oh, Freddy, who's Freddy? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, okay. So, yeah. So, Dream Warriors, not my favorite. I'll still watch it every once in a while, but just I know a lot of people are probably saying, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, I'll watch it for Nancy. That's all I will watch. I will watch it for Heather Langenkamp, even though her stripes on the wrong side. I'll watch it for her, and that's about it. Next up is actually my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Now, this one, I remember watching it again before I saw 1 again. So, when I first saw 4, I loved it. That was kind of like my movie to watch with my brothers every Sunday morning while we were waiting for pancakes. That's what it was a thing. We popped in 4 and we watched it. So I have very fond memories of 4, and that's probably why I love it much more than 3. Um, like I said, I'm not hating on 3. I think 4 is a better movie. Rennie Holland knew what the fuck he was doing. He did a kind of a horror movie, supernatural movie before, called Prison, which ironically released in the same year. So this had to have been done. Prison had to have been done in 87. So, but by done I mean by shooting. So why do I love 4 so much? And I think it's because while 3 didn't have a main competent heroine, that was Kristen, because Nancy wasn't. She was the mentor. She was, the senpai. She was that. 4 brought Alice into the picture, and I love Alice. Oh my god, Lisa Wincox. No, what the hell she was doing in that movie? Even though I think that was her first movie role, her first big movie role. I just love Alice. I think her transformation from being this kind of a shy girl, not really talkative, tends to daydream a lot more, and bring and then turning throughout the movie, like getting like her personality started changing a little bit more. And at the end of the movie, she's strong, she's competent, she's not falling down. She, knew what the hell to do. Unlike Kristen, that, saying, "Oh, Freddy's gonna come back for us. I just know it, bitch. If you fear him, he's going to come back." And, well, he did. He certainly did. So, the whole, oh, he killed off Kincaid, oh, he killed off Joey, he killed off Kristen, because, right away. And I'm like, they kind of got lucky with surviving 3, and it was mostly having to do with Nancy and Neil, during the final competition in 3. Now, the reason why I think they got killed off this time is because they forgot. They forgot about their dream powers, because I think maybe this takes place the next year, which, now, in Nightmare on Elm Street continuity, from what I've heard, one is supposed to take place in 82. One's supposed to take place in 82. 5's supposed to take place in 87, because 5 years. 3 is 88, and 4 is 89. I don't know. I don't think there's actually timeline out there, and you get to then you get to Freddy's dead, and then it gets more fucked up. But I'm not gonna get into that. No. The deaths are a lot more creative in this one than in 3. There is a lot more creative deaths in this one. There's only one stabbing death, and that's Kincaid. Kind of odd that he goes up getting stabbed now. Hey, kind of odd. But going back to what I said about them losing their abilities to lose, they probably forgot. They think, oh, well, Freddy's gone, we'll never have to use our dream powers again. And then, whoops, Freddy's back. Kincaid dog brought him back to life with dog's name's Jason. So, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot more, I mean, I'm not saying that the characters in 3 were memorable, but I think, I don't know, I love 4. 4 is my movie. 4, I mean, a lot of people saying, 4 is kind of when things went south, and I'm like, no. But, let's be honest with ourselves. 4 was only taking the direction of 3. But, so, Rennie Holland was like, okay, we're gonna take the direction of 3. And, So they're taking the direction of 3, and if 3 wasn't more like a black humor, 4 wouldn't be black humor. And I think a lot of people forget that. I'm like, if it wasn't for 3, 4, 5, and possibly 6 wouldn't be, atrocious. But it works in 4's case because 4 is brighter. It's bright and it has more color. I think that's a real reason, because it balanced, instead of being it dark and gritty and, adding some slapstick humor, 4 balanced it out because it's Freddy himself is a murderer, but he can still do one-liners and it's not as dark and gritty. And I don't know if anyone else would agree with me, but I think it works better in 4 than it did in 3 because of that. I mean, I could be wrong. A lot of people may enjoy 4 as more than 3, but a lot of people tend to, pick 3 as the fan favorite. And I'm like, 3 is good, but have you seen 4? With a competent heroine and Alice? 'Cause Kristen wasn't that competent. And again, I'll get my ass chewed up. I don't care. But, I think 4 was done better despite being only half written by the time of the writer's strike. And oddly enough, my favorite Halloween movie was also done during the writer's strike. So I think that kind of explains a lot. But you know what? In those situations, it only brings out the better director. It only brings out the director better. His color shines more through. And I think that's what happened with 4. I think 4 was wonderful. That's why it was the highest grossing Nightmare on Elm Street movie until Freddy vs. Jason came along. But I think that's why. So if anyone, say, oh, 4 sucks, I'm like, no. You suck. Last but certainly not least is my least favorite of the Dream Trilogy, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Now this is when things started going terribly wrong. While Stephen Hopkins was a great director, there were just things that didn't mesh well. While the characters in 5 were awesome, Greta, Yovan, Mark, and returning to Alice and Dan, even though Dan got killed off rather early. Bye, Dan. Bye. 5 was when things sadly took a turn for the worse, and I enjoy 5 to a point. I mean, I think the whole, it's kind of hard to pick on 5 because Alice is in it, and I love Alice. And a lot of people's like, it, and I don't know. I think it was because at that time, despite another one of my favorite Halloween movies came out in '89. At that time, horror movies, especially if they were in long series like Friday the 13th Part 8 suck ass. Sorry, Jay, but it sucks ass. I I barely could stand watching through Jason Tate's Manhattan. Um, the same could be said for Dream Child, but I can turn my brain off and enjoy it. And it's sad because like it has so much potential to be a good movie, and it just something went wrong. And, the whole Freddy's trying to become be reborn again. By going through um Alice baby. That's a good idea, but something didn't click. And I mean the deaths are awesome. Dan's death is awesome. Greta's death is awesome. Um, Mark's death is awesome. They have great deaths. Just something didn't go right in this movie, and it's sad. It's sad. And it's just that's all I can say about 5. And it was at that period when horror films weren't really the best, even though I love fucking Halloween 5. I love it. It's my second favorite one after 4. But something just didn't go right with this movie. Excuse me. And it's sad. It's very sad because it had so much potential, and it just something didn't click. So that is about it for the overview of the Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Trilogy. I don't think I'll talk about Freddy's Dead, because I may kill it with all my harsh comments. I may do this with the Friday 13th movies. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will have time. So, until next time, my lovelies, I'll see you.